Recorded live with little no editing. It's Defense Up. I'm Round 7. How you doing? Today we're going over DamianSapling's roster. He is 15 million operating in Plat 1, and we're going to be talking about making the most of your roster. He has about 10 good teams, he says. He's here with us in chat, live on Twitch, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can join us for those if you want to be a part of the conversation behind the scenes. Also, I had Pathfinder Gaming, Jgiusti, and I think that was it. I can't remember. Some people in my ear helping me out with these. So remember, if I make a mistake, you be sure to go to their streams and blame them. So, Damian has some interesting stuff going on in the roster, and we've got some teams that we're going to be talking about further down the way about how they are piecing stuff together where most of us would be like, why are you doing that? But they've actually got a good reason to do it. So when you have a difference of opinion, be sure to look at what your roster size is compared to some of the people that we showcase. Always compare your roster size. All right, team number 1 is Asgardians. I'm not a big fan of the Asgardians, but at Plat 1, they're probably still pretty effective. Maybe not a lot of people are watching me on YouTube, like and subscribe, and getting the information to know that New Warriors with Star-Lord will delete this in like one of the most efficient things you could possibly do in Cosmic Crucible. So to make it a little bit better than that, you leave Heimdall where he's at, you beef up Civ and Valkyrie a bit. Let's change the ISOs. Civ to a Raider, Valkyrie to a Striker or Raider. You can leave Mighty Thor as a Striker or have her as a Raider, and then Heimdall should be a Raider. Thor is also a Raider. We got that one right. The placement on this is great. You just kind of want it like one character a little bit weaker so that hopefully they die, which triggers the passive for Valkyrie. We talk about this one all the time. It's not super exciting to me, but at this level and with Damian's roster, it's what he can do to supplement his defensive teams, and it's not too shabby. But as you move up into Diamond, you're going to want to get rid of this because those players are a little bit more focused, a little bit more tuned in, and they're going to come up with the good, efficient counters, ways to delete this without having to waste any Eternals on it. And it's going to hurt you eventually. But for right now, it's okay. I just don't like the ISOs. The ISO choices on this are pretty gross. I'm going to give it a B-. Next, we have YA. This is fine. It's a fantastic team. I think we should go blue ISO on it. You could adjust the placement. You've got some of your better characters kind of clumped together, so maybe move America Chavez more in the mix and separate them out so that when you come into it with, say, a A4 Surfer team or something like that, or Surfer New Warriors, there's not a clump of 3 people that get all that defense down and disrupt and stuff like that. So I don't like the placement so much, but it's a great team. Let's build them up a little bit more. I'm just going to give it an A-. Move on to the next one. Bionic Avengers. A lot of people putting Bionic Avengers in as a filler defense because so many people moved away from putting the Web Warriors on defense since this so efficiently kills it. Now that we don't see Web Warriors, you see Bionic Avengers. Well, might be time to put your Web Warriors back on defense once in a while if you want to. Damian's going full fortifier on this, spreading the positive effects around. I don't think it's going to get a lot of benefit. Also, there's a lot of members of this team that are naturally strikers, and they would get barrier or do some fun stuff because they're strikers, and I think that's just as important. So let's go back to the raid traditional ISOs and a much better placement. I don't like this placement, although proper placement should probably be from left to right. Viv, Iron Man, Deathlock, Vision, and then Hulkbuster. And I think I do Iron Man as a striker, maybe a Raider. I think Raider for his AoE. Vivian as a striker, Viz as a Raider, Deathlock as a Raider, and Hulkbuster as a striker is my preferred. There's a little bit of wiggle room on those. You want to leave 1 or 2 of them as a fortifier to spread some positive effects around, keep that defense up going for a few extra turns. That's fine, your choice. But I think you're going to get more mileage just leaving them with their traditional raid ISOs. For me, this isn't anything exciting, but you're not really wasting anything. I'm going to go with an A- on this. I do want the placement fixed for sure, and that costs you nothing. Team number 4, we talked at length about this team. Most defenses, this would be a liability. However, where Damian's operating, there may not be a lot of those speed meta teams to feed off of this. It's probably just going to get a Death Seed called in on it, and that's okay because there's not a lot of other stuff that's really requiring Death Seed, or that he could put on that would require Death Seed, I should say. So it really doesn't matter. It's just what he's got available. Now, You see that there's some Infinity Watch members. Infinity Watch is a very powerful team this Crucible, both War and Crucible, in fact. However, Damian only has the 2, so might as well use it. Gamora puts some bleeds out there, which goes with Zim. Hela should be a striker and move to the outside with Zim in the middle as a skirmisher. Other than that, I think it's pretty good. I think as Damian moves up, excuse me, as Damian moves up in the rankings in the leagues, they should get rid of this team, replace it with something better. Throw Ultron on the Masters of Evil and get your summons and stuff out of defense. They tend to be a liability. Excuse me. Got that Nature's Valley granola bar stuck in my throat. So for most players, I'd say this is a really bad team to have, but it actually works pretty well with Damian's roster. He's not really wasting anything at the moment, but soon this will probably get replaced. I'm going to give this a B. It's not very exciting and it's not doing much. Also, I think this team should probably be moved into room 5, and the team that we're going to look at in room 5 moved to 4, because neither of the teams are taking advantage of resurrection protocols, and this team is going to do much better in this room. So, Web Warriors. I kind of like them on defense right now. Like I said, a lot of people are throwing their Bionic Avengers on defense, and they don't have the efficient way to deal with this. So yes, it's going to lose, but it'll take a few turns to do it. A lot of dodge mechanics going on here. Personally, I like Miles as a striker. He's already in the blue as a skirmisher, and changing him is not going to make much of a difference on this defense. You could put Gwen in the back row. I mean, there's some nitpicky things, but ultimately this team is going to lose. I do like it on defense. Let's move it to 4. I'm going to go A- for the tweaks. And other than that, it's not too bad, not too bad. And finally, we have Unlimited in 6. Now, here's why Unlimited in 6 is in 6 on this defense. At this level, no one beats it in 6. Right? No one beats it. There's people with Darkhold that could beat the Wakandans in 6, but no one can beat this in 6 because they don't know the really cool counters, which I'm going to save Damian and not give it away in this video. But there is some pretty good counters to this in 6. Risky plays. You got to watch out where the ability block lands on the thing. But you go in there and you can stun 2 people and move through this team pretty well. You can't use Gamma on it, and that's why this placement is correct. Red Hulk doesn't get his charges. He's never going to pop off that big AoE, and that's what really carries the match. Since he can't do that, you can't use Gamma on it. Some people at Plat 1 might get confused, screw up, and take Gamma in here, and you win. Nice job. Other people aren't going to know the specific counter to beat this in 6, so it's a great team for 6. It allows Damian to use his Wakandans on offense for a bunch of different stuff in other rooms. So I like this. I think the ISOs are great. As Rogue gets a little bigger, you could switch her over to a striker. I'm still running mine as a skirmisher, and she's doing just fine. So this is fantastic. I do like Phantom X as a raider. I prefer that because there's a lot of multi-attacks, a lot of chances to crit. So that's the one change I would make. Honestly, I'm still going to give him an A because I'm sick and tired of seeing Wakanda in 6. And Damian's using Wakandans on offense, and that's fantastic. So if you thought this was fantastic, be sure to hit that like button. While you're down there, subscribe for more of my videos and all that stuff. Or if you really want, you could be like my buddy John and just comment like 12 times and boost up my algorithm. Thanks for that. Otherwise, don't just have a good game, be good to yourselves and others too, and I'll see you next time. Bye.